Hi, guys. Live from our cryptid camper. I'm Tom here with my good friend Shay, and we'd like to thank you for joining us for the season finale of season one. I can't believe it's already here. On today's episode, we're going to do something a little different. We have a top nine list of cryptids that we did not get to discuss during season one because of time constraints or whatever, but these are some of our favorites that we came across during our research. So I hope you enjoy. So how you doing today, Shay?
I'm really good. I can't believe this is episode. This is 26.
I
26
think,
episodes. I, I think I have like season finale jitters. I don't like
yeah,
it's nice. It's like a sense of accomplishment too. Like it's been so much fun and yeah.
yeah, I know. I can't believe it's already here. God, it feels like we just started recording not long ago, but I know it's been a while now. And Yeah, this is crazy. But I'm really excited for this episode because it's going to be a
Yep.
lot of fun. These are just some. I if we had more time, I wish we could have discussed them during the season. But actually, I'm kind of glad we get to do it like this in a little list. So, um, before we jump in, what's new? Anything or?
So I watched Firestarter last night.
Oh, how was it?
So it depends on who you ask. Actually, in my house, I loved it. I thought it was great, and the uh the males in my house were not super thrilled. They took a couple, I guess, liberties, if you don't, for lack of a better way to put it. They took a couple liberties maybe with the film, that were different from not only the first film but also from the book a little bit. And I I actually like some of the liberties because I almost feel like I got like a hint that some of the things that they made happen were going to happen. So I like that, but I liked it a lot. And the little girl that played Charlie is mind blowing, mind blowing. She's
Oh, good,
amazing. Yeah. So
good.
she was actually in it. I think chapter two. She played the little girl at the carnival that Pennywise lures into like the funhouse area.
Oh, nice,
Hmm.
nice. Yeah, I got to check that out. Gotta check that out.
Yeah. So
Ugh,
what
very
about
cool.
you? Been up to anything good?
No, no, I'm trying to think. Not much. I did see last night, and I know it's not really horror based or anything, but I got excited when I got home and saw this on, I believe it's on Amazon Prime. Uh, there is a new season of Kids in the Hall, and
Really?
yes, and I love Kids in the Hall. One of my all-time favorite comedy shows. Yeah, they're much older now. Definitely not kids. They weren't kids then, but they were in their 20s at least when they were doing it. And it's produced by Lorne Michaels, SNL, who produced the original. And they did another show, but it was more like a mini series. Maybe 5-10 years back. I'm not too sure, and it was which was pretty damn funny. But it was different format. It was different type. And yeah, I'm super excited to watch that because I love Kids in the Hall, and to me, Brain Candy, their movie that didn't do very well, was so funny. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, other than that, I lead a pretty boring life, I think. So
Have you had a chance to check out Outer Range yet?
I did. I'm glad you brought that up. So I did start it, and very cool so far. I think I'm 2 or 3 episodes in. Yes, yes, very, very cool
Yep.
so far.
All right.
Yeah,
It's it's taken it's taken a couple of shifts that I honestly wasn't expecting, but I'm totally happy about it. And Josh Brolin's freaking awesome. He's huge. He's like so jacked.
yeah,
He's like a
he's
big
great.
dude. I don't like. I know Thanos is big, but like I just figured Thanos was big. I don't know, but
He's great. He doesn't get. I don't think he gets the love that he should from people. It's like he is a great actor.
He is.
Yeah, I'm liking that. I'll probably watch some later today. Tonight, actually, some more of that as well.
Same.
So, cool. Well, all right. I'm gonna jump in. So the first place we're gonna take you back to Maine, and I am gonna talk about, and I'm fairly certain you are familiar with this one, Shay, but Razor Shins.
So yes, I am familiar with it, and but it's awesome. So I can't wait to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And guys, this will be a little bit different because we're just gonna, briefly talk about these and stuff. So it'll be a little different formatted than the previous episodes. But so Razor Shins originates from folklore from the loggers of Maine, and it is said to be an immortal humanoid type creature. It is said to have sharp, protruding shin bones and an insatiable thirst for liquor. New employees of logging companies in Maine are encouraged to leave a jug of Bangor whiskey outside their camp door on the night of a full moon. If Razor Shins empties the jug by morning, he may just use his razor-sharp shin bones to fell a tree for the new employee. However, there are also tales of new employees caught in the woods by Razor Shins and are scalped or otherwise mutilated by his sharp shin bones after failing to offer this customary tribute. And that's essentially it for Razor Shins. Not a ton there, but I just love it. I just love that one.
I love it. I love it because he's kind of a lush. I mean, for disclaimer though, please don't drink and chop wood. Don't drink and do anything you shouldn't do. Drink or just don't do both. But
yes, yeah, I don't know. He's to drink a whole jug of whiskey and then chop a tree. Like, I'm not getting out of bed if I drink a jug of whiskey. So it's pretty impressive. But yeah, I love it, and it's humanoid. Guys, if you want to do a rendering or a drawing of what you think it might look like, please send it in to us, because there's a couple images on Google of it, and they're pretty. Some are kind of wild, and others are just kind of. It's like a dude, just sharp shin bones. But yeah. If you do, please send it in. We'll talk about it, and we'll put it up on our site or whatever. So
I like it. All right. Well, awesome choice. And I guess it's my turn now. So I'm gonna take you over to Washington State, not DC, and I'm gonna talk about the Gumbaroo.
So awesome. So I know very little about it. I just kind of came across it as I was researching for this episode, so I'm excited for this. So
the description of this thing has me like laughing. It's the funniest thing. It's moved. I don't know what that was. Edit. It's moo apparently. No. It's massive. It's hairless for the most part. I'll get back to that. And it's bear-like. So it's just this giant naked bear. And it's that's funny enough as is, but it does have some hair. So it's not completely hairless. But where it has its hair, will give you an image that I promise you will not be able to unsee. Because I can't, but it's okay. You won't want to unsee it. So it has very large, very bushy eyebrows and mustache. Yeah, it does.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yep. So its hide or its skin is also thought to be bulletproof, and so much so that the bullets actually ricochet back off of it and towards whichever direction it came from.
Wow.
Now, the only way to kill listen, people. Before I tell you how to kill this thing, don't do it. Just don't. Just leave it alone. Unless if it attacks you, fine. Do what you have to. But for the love of all things, stop killing cryptids. Stop trying to kill cryptids. Don't shoot them. Don't stab them. Don't do this. But unless you have to. But the only way to kill this cryptid is to light it on fire, and it literally only has to be lightly lit by the fire, and it explodes. Yep.
Wow.
Now, again, only you can prevent forest fires. Don't do this.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, it's also said to be ravenously hungry all of the time, just constantly needing to feed, and it can eat a whole horse at a time. So that's the Gumberoo, but the description has me laughing because I'm just picturing this big old like porn stash and these like big old, I don't even know. It's me cracking up.
So when you said that, the mustache and then the eyebrows, I got like, I don't know if you ever were a Conan fan, Conan O'Brien, and when like he did those things, like if they had a child and he would take like two celebrities and make it weird. So when I heard the bushy mustache and the bushy eyebrows, I got this mental picture of like at least the face of a child of Tom Selleck and Eugene Levy. So I was dying because I pictured the mustache, the big old mustache on Selleck, and then the big eyebrows on Eugene Levy, and like I don't know, that's where my mind went immediately. I was and I was not laughing to myself so hard. So
that is now what I see. It's Tom Selleck and Eugene Levy had a baby. It's Eugene Levick, maybe? Eugene Levick? I like it. I thought the description I found was good, but now that is forever imprinted in my brain. So thank you, actually. That's perfect.
That was great. No, that's wild. And I love when on these, when there's like you said, never don't try to kill these creatures or whatever. But I do love when there's like sort of this folklore to it on how to, like, you know, you said put the light to it. It brought me back to Central American wind tosser that rips itself apart is the only way to.
Yep.
I love when that stuff's in the folklore, even though, like I said, I don't think you should try to kill any of these.
The squonk that melts. Remember that one?
That was probably the best one. Melts into its tears. And I kept coming across, researching for this episode, I kept coming across squonk too. And I was just like, that is the best one when it comes to on how to kill it or whatever. So good. I loved it. Good choice.
Thank you.
Choice. So the next one, I'm going to take us back to Alaska and talk about the Kalu Pollock. So
very good.
Nice. I like this one just because of the folklore behind it, even though the description of it's cool too. But the folklore is what got me. And I almost chose this when we talked about Alaska and in the Alaskan episode, but I ended up going with the Adlet because it was just a slightly better story, in my opinion, for the Adlet. But here's the Kalu Pollock. And I hope I'm saying that right, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. So the Kalu Pollock is a creature that comes from Inuit folklore, described as female, human-like, with green skin, long scraggly hair, and very long fingernails. She lives in the sea and hums melodies to entice children to come closer to the water. She is said to wear an omotic, which is a traditional Inuit parka worn by the women to hold the child against their back in a built-in baby pouch just below the hood. So parents and elders tell children that if they are disobedient or wander too close to the seashore, the Kalu Pollock will come on shore and put them in her omotic or parka thing and take them back to the sea with her to raise them as her own children and never to be seen by their family again. And that is the Kalapalak.
I love that. I like because you don't stumble across them very often. You don't stumble across like the female cryptids, and they're almost always anytime you do stumble across them, they're almost always taking kids. But it's almost sweet because it's almost like they're not taking them for a bad reason, but they're that was that is a great cryptid. I'm glad you picked that one.
Yeah, I like it, and I like how it too. It just reminds me of like stuff my parents would say when I was a kid. So these little stories they tell you just so you don't do something bad, and I just love it. And then coming from an Inuit legend, I'm always fascinated by Native Americans and all that. So yeah, I like that one. I like it.
Great choice.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think it's my turn now. So we're gonna go to Colorado, and I'm really excited because I did the haunting for Colorado, and Colorado is just so rich of really everything. It's a potluck of just endless things you could talk about, and but I was really excited that you didn't pick this one because I guess I wasn't excited that you picked it, but I was because what you picked was awesome. But now I get to actually talk about it. So knowing that we were going to do this episode, I'm super excited. I am going to talk about the Tommyknockers.
Nice. I'm so glad you picked it because I almost picked it for this episode, and then part of me thought you might, and then I'm glad we're getting to talk because they're one of my favorites. They really are, and it was tough for me not to pick that when we did Colorado. So I'm excited. Here we go.
All right. So it's said to be gnome-like or maybe similar to a leprechaun. And if you've been listening to the show, or obviously not watching, but if you've been listening to the show since episode 1, you'll remember when we talked about the Pukwudgie, or I like to call him the Wudge. It's very similar in description to that. So I love that kind of stuff. And they even have versions of it really all over the world. They have them in England and in Germany. They're thought of as mountain ghosts, not mountain goats. Start over. In Germany, they're thought of as mountain ghosts or little miners, and they stand about 2 feet tall. They're said to be either greenish or tan in color, depending on the version you're reading, and they wear mining clothes. Now, for the most part, it seems like the Tommyknockers seem to like to have fun, and they like to be pranksters and be a little mischievous, and they like to steal tools and maybe steal lunches of the miners, which I can imagine that would not be fun, but it's funny. And while they're mischievous, they actually are sought after and wanted to be in the mines by miners because of one thing that they do. And it's actually said that they will knock or bang on the cave walls to warn miners just before a collapse so they have a chance of getting out. And I love that, and that's so cool. Now, in some cases, it's even said that the Tommyknockers can lead the miners to rich bodies of ore. So whatever they're mining, it can actually show them the way to like a plethora of it. Now, there is one other thing that's maybe not so sweet and a little more than mischievous, is that it said non-believers sometimes will meet death or injury through the Tommyknockers. So believe in them.
Yeah.
They're here to help.
That's awesome. Because that's a little bit I didn't know about them, that like the non-believer. I had never heard that, and that's really cool. Yeah, I love this one. I love the fact it's different in the fact, the whole knocking to save a person, like you don't get that much with the at all, like, to my knowledge, really, with many other cryptids, and that they're trying to help the human out, because usually they're trying to hide from humans, because as we've come to learn through this first season, a lot of humans' first reaction or thought is to fire at these creatures without even knowing what they are, what it's about, or anything, and it's just like, yeah, I'll shoot it. So I love that aspect of the Tommy Knockers, and I just find them so fascinating. And question: are you a fan of the book or film by Stephen King, Tommy Knockers?
So, and it's funny because I tend to go one way or the other, but it's never the same when it's between the books and the movies. And I feel like I'm actually book with this one over movie. What about you?
I would think so too. Now, am I wrong in, because it's been a while since I saw Tommy and then Tommy Knockers? Was there some sort of feline cat tie-in with them in the movie somehow or something? Were they feline-esque?
Yes, they were definitely feline-esque.
Like, not I don't mean like a stray cat, right? But
No,
like,
no.
but
But yeah, they were more yeah, again, feline than I think we would normally picture.
Yeah, okay, because like I said, it's been a while, and then I was like, am I conflating two different completely different movies or whatever? But
Oh, if you are, I am too. So we're on the same page.
Yeah, 'cause I always found that strange. So, but yeah, no, great choice. I love, like I said, they are definitely a top 10 cryptid for me. Like, definitely. Maybe even a top 5. I really like them, even though I didn't pick them for mine, but they are up there.
Yep.
It's great choice. So, I'm going to take you back to Maryland and talk about the Goat Man. I don't know why I have a thing for Goat Man, goat cryptids or something. I've come to really like them for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it has to do with Pan's Labyrinth, the whole Pan mythology and stuff like that, but I don't know. I've become a big fan of goat cryptids.
They're very interesting. I totally get it. They're super interesting. You do definitely have a thing for goat cryptids, but I totally get it though. I feel like goat cryptids is for you what like Wendigo might be for me, or so. Yeah. But yeah, I get it. So,
all right. So, Goat Man of Maryland. The first sightings date back to 1971, and the Goat Man of Maryland roams the back roads in Prince George's County, Maryland. There are two main variations to this legend. The first claims that he was a goat herder and, that became a hermit and went insane from isolation. Now he goes after and attacks people. And he will also mutilate their pets. The second variation claims that he was the victim of experiments done by the Agricultural Research Center in Maryland. Due to these experiments, it is said that he resembles a satyr, which is a mythical creature that has the body of a human but is goat-like from the waist down. Some have also claimed that the Goat Man attacked their car with an axe as they drove by his territory, where he lives. And that's essentially it for the Goat Man of Maryland. And oh, never mind on that. I was conflating something else, but I just love it.
Nope, that was a great choice. Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah, I like I do like these experiment go wrong type of cryptids too. Like, I definitely, like, as you'll see again later, it's just a different spin on them, and that I've come to really like the experiment going wrong. So cool.
I like it. All right. Well, I still can't believe this is almost over. Like we only have a couple more, and like that's it for season 1. So
Yeah, crazy.
all right. So we're gonna sidetrack again now to Arizona, and I'm gonna talk about the Aswang. And I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am.
I think so.
All right, cool. So it is described, and this description is awesome. And this is actually why I picked this one, because it's just so cool, and especially like as a horror fan, it's really something that I'm so glad is out there. It's described to be a cross between a werewolf and a vampire, and it has gigantic bat-like wings. So, right?
Yes. Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's said that during the day that it just lives amongst the people. It looks like a person, it acts like a person, and it just goes along with society and blends in, and it transforms at night. The diet of this creature is not one that I think I've come across yet, and it's super chilling and really gross, but kind of funny. Not funny, but fun. Well, maybe for the cryptid. Um, it it says that they enjoy most eating unborn fetuses, which they suck out of the mother's womb. Depictions show it sucking the baby out of the belly button somehow, but I'm not going to give an anatomy lesson, but we all know there might be an easier route than through the belly button. But that's I digress. That's come up with your own images, people.
Through the front bum.
Yeah. And they also like to take and eat small children right out of their bed in the middle of the night. What's really cool that they do, and it said that they leave in the victim's place a doppelganger that they create out of earthly materials like plants and tree bark and whatnot, and that this doppelganger would live and function in the victim's place until it falls ill and rapidly dies. And that is the Aswang.
Okay, so I am now obsessed with the Aswang, and there needs to be a movie about this. Like this, he needs to be in a movie because that's got everything. That's got everything between the description of two of the most iconic horror creatures in that we know of, a vampire and a werewolf. The fact that I took notes because I'm so fascinated by this one, that it walks as a human during the day.
Yeah.
And transforms at night. Again, that's different to, most cryptids. Its diet, which is crazy.
Yep.
And the doppelganger. I love that it leaves a doppelganger that, you said dies rapidly, but yeah, no, that is, I can't believe we've never discussed the Aswang before or anything like that. I didn't know much about it. I remember seeing it when we were doing the Arizona episode.
Yeah.
But I must not have read too much about it because that's got everything. That's one of my new favorites right there. That is amazing. Everything about it, between the folklore, the description, its diet, that is awesome. I love it.
I'm glad you liked it. It had me, it absolutely caught my attention. So I'm glad I got to talk about it.
Good choice. All right. Well, I'm going to take us over to Connecticut and discuss the Melonheads. So,
Awesome.
As I said before, I've come to really like ones that are kind of based around experiments and stuff, just because it's a little different. And so the Connecticut Melonheads, I just want to is the folklore is a little different to the Ohio melonheads and the Michigan melonheads. They each kind of have their own take that have some similarities, but a lot of differences. So in Connecticut, legend states that the melonheads can be found throughout southwest Connecticut, especially in Fairfield County, as well as the towns of Trumbull, Shelton, Stratford, Monroe, Easton, and Weston. Melonheads are said to be either human or human-like, with large bulbous heads, facial abnormalities. They're usually pretty short, like under 5 feet, and have short, stubby arms usually. There are two main variations to the legend of the Connecticut melonheads. The first one is that in the fall of 1960, an asylum for the criminally insane burnt down in Fairfield County. All perished in the fire, aside from approximately 10 to 20 inmates who were unaccounted for. Supposedly, they survived and retreated to the surrounding woods. Unfortunately, most of those that survived had to resort to cannibalism and inbreeding, which in turn caused them, especially the cannibalism, which in turn caused them to develop hydrocephalus, which is a buildup of spinal fluid on the brain that creates that bulbous look to their head. The second legend states that the melonheads are descendants of a colonial era family from the Shelton Trumbull area who were banished for witchcraft. So they too retreated to the woods. And again, unfortunately, they had to resort to cannibalism and inbreeding after the first harsh winter. This cannibalism caused the hydrocephalus, the buildup of the fluid on their brain, again, giving them the bulbous head. To this day, it is said that they will prey upon humans that wander into their area or territory, and others have claimed that the melonheads will throw rocks, sticks, branches, and debris at their cars as they drive by their territory. And that is the melonheads.
So I feel like I have a thing, and I feel like it's a thing that has to be said. Now, it might be an unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion, and I'm sure it's not just my opinion. So when it comes to a survival situation, yes, I can 100% wrap my head around having to resort to cannibalism to survive. There is zero situations in which you would ever have to resort to inbreeding to survive. That is not a thing. There's a difference between needing to resort and wanting to resort. That is not the same. That does not sustain your life force. That does not keep you alive. You might want that or whatever, but it does not keep you alive. So that is not a has to resort to thing. Cannibalism, yes. Inbreeding, no. That's a choice. That's not a necessity. So, but I digress.
That's a great point, and I'm glad you brought that up because it is true. You don't need to resort to inbreeding to survive. And in the research I was doing, it was talked about the cannibalism somehow creating the hydrocephalus, this buildup in there. But as we know, inbreeding resorts to abnormalities in a body, not developmental, mental, physical abnormalities. So to me, especially the facial abnormalities that it talks about and the short stubby arms, stuff like that is more likely from the inbreeding, which again, never necessary. Uh, and to me would seem like maybe a cause for the bulbous heads, even like possibly even the hydrocephalus, even though because the cannibalism, and I know cannibalism does create problems within the body and stuff like that. We're not meant to eat our own, so, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that there does need to be a distinction. Yeah, you might need to resort to cannibalism if you're looking to survive. We all know the story that they made that movie Alive about the soccer team that crashed in the Andes Mountains, and they had to resort to cannibalism. And then I know we both watching Yellow Jackets, which I cannot.
Oh, that is so good.
And we didn't see any of the cannibalism yet, but we're pretty sure it's coming. So, yeah. So I wouldn't want to have to resort to cannibalism, but I understand it, and but the inbreeding, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So, cool.
Well, that was a topic. Said, so I agree, actually. So, all right. So I'm about to talk about my last cryptid for the whole season. This is the last cryptid, and it's really just hitting me now. 26 episodes, my last cryptid. That's insane.
Crazy.
For this cryptid, I'm going to take us back to my home state. We're going to talk about a cryptid in Massachusetts that I was literally years old when I learned about, which for me is not super common, especially in Massachusetts, but
right.
I'm going to talk about the Gloucester sea serpent.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, me either. And it's funny because it's very much seen that way, that not a lot of people know about it. It's a very rarely known about cryptid. And it's funny because in episode 2 of this season, we did Rhode Island, and I actually did the Gloucester ghoul, which for a long time I always knew about, but for a long time I always thought it was from Massachusetts, but it's not. This one definitely is. So the Gloucester sea serpent rarely makes cryptid lists. It's barely known about. It's barely ever heard about. And it can be seen, or has been seen, off the coast of Gloucester and Cape Ann. So possibly a reason for it being very unknown is the dates. It really is not seen very often, and in a chunk of time that it was seen fairly often, it was a long time ago. Now, its first recorded sighting was in 1638.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Now, there was a lump of sightings together that happened over a span of a couple years, from 1817 to 1819. So again, still centuries ago. Yeah. It was in the 1800s. It was actually investigated by the Linnean Society, which best I can find is a paranormal type society. So I don't have a lot of information on that, but that's not why we're here. So now, with possibly thousands of sightings and an official investigation report, this is actually surprisingly, although rare, one of the most well-documented cryptids. It's never been debunked. It's never been disproven. You have skeptics, but it stands firm that this might be a thing. And a brief description is you can't really find a lot of detail on it, but you can kind of picture, obviously it's a serpent, so it's a serpent-like body with bumps or ridges along its back, but it has a stinger on its head, and they can be up to 20 feet long.
Holy cow.
Yep. Now, there is a skeptic's report that does say that they believe this was a narwhal because of the stinger on its head, but that doesn't sound like a narwhal to me, and I love narwhals, so I don't think that's one of them.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with narwhals, and that doesn't sound like a narwhal to me either. So
yeah. But that is my Gloucester sea serpent.
I love it. I've never heard of that. And I'm being from the area, I I'm not from Mass, but I'm Rhode Island, which is
Yeah.
basically Massachusetts, and never heard of that. And I'm so glad you picked like the water one like that, because we never talked about like Tessie, Nessie, Chessie sort of water when we've done stuff, based around the water. And I talked about a siren earlier, and then I talked about the Kalapalik, but we never done that.
Yep.
That's
Remember the Dog Man? Do you remember the Dog Man episode with it was a dog and a woman had babies,
Adler.
and he was going to and he was going to the beach, and like I love that one. I remember
Yeah,
that one.
that was the Alaska episode. So just to let you know, all of a sudden your sound does not. It sounds like it like disconnected and is going through something different now. You sound like you're in a tin can all of a sudden.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, because you're not wearing headphones, are you?
No.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I can still hear you and everything. It just went from what it normally sounds like to now like something disconnected or something.
Let me. Obviously, we'll edit. So give me.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be right back in a sec too. Stand. Okay. Sorry about that.
How's this sound?
Almost worse.
My freaking landlord's out there banging something with a sledgehammer that's been broken for 4 fucking years. He's fixing it today, right now, today at this time.
Oh no.
So I don't even know what to do.
Well, I mean, I can still. It doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. What I mean, The only thing I could think of is if you go out and come back in.
Can I do that live?
I don't know if you can do that live. That's the only problem.
Let me try.
Okay.
How's that?
Perfect.
Cool.
You're back. All right. Cool. All right. So we were done with that last one, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was completely finished.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, now this is the last one I'm going to talk about for this season. This is crazy. So I'm going to take us back to West Virginia and talk about the Veggie Man or the Vegetable Man.
That sounds terrifying. That sounds like the monster that comes at you when you don't eat your broccoli.
Yeah, I was when I was researching this episode, first state I went to was West Virginia. And when I came across this, I was like, yeah, I got to do this one. So There have been very few sightings of the Veggie Man. The most famous happened in Fairmont, West Virginia in 1968 by Jennings Frederick while he was out on a hunt. The Veggie Man is said to be over 7 feet tall, thin, bipedal, with a semi-human shape. It appears to be partially plant-based. It possesses large ears with striking eyes that oscillate in color from red to yellow and back to red very rapidly. That I almost picture the character from Roger Rabbit, the Doom, whatever.
Dr. Doom, yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
Judge.
yeah.
So, it is said to have thin arms that give the impression of reeds by a riverbank. On the ends of its long, slender fingers, it has suction cups. And then there are like thorns, like from a plant or something, protruding through the suction cups. And it is said to communicate telepathically. So, according to Jennings Frederick, as he was hunting, he heard a strange sound that sounded like a record player running faster than it should. A sort of high-pitched jabbering is how he described it. As he tracked the sound, he came face to face with the creature. He said it looked weakened and sickly, and then it began to communicate with him telepathically, saying, and this is his verbatim, "You need not fear me. I wish to communicate. I come as a friend. We know of you all. I come in peace. I wish medical assistance. I need your help." Not right after he says this, the creature lunges at him and wraps Frederick in his strong arms, like almost in like a bear hug. Unable to break its grasp, unable to break its grasp, the creature then pierced his skin with the thorns on the end of its long fingers. Frederick then became enthralled by the flashing oscillation of the creature's eyes. He was like transfixed. He could not look away. And while he's sort of transfixed and these thorns are in his skin, he realizes that the creature is actually draining some of his blood through these thorns. But then all of a sudden, the creature just lets him go, races up a hill, never to be seen again. At least by Frederick. And that is the Vegetable Man.
That's one of those cryptids that really, like, the descriptions that you're able to find and everything, really, they paint it in your head. Like, I can see it. Like, I have that image now. And that was great. Good job.
That was the selling point, was the description, like being plant-based, and then like the suction cups, and then the thorns. It does just give a very vivid sort of picture, and I never heard of it, honestly, until I was doing research for this. I was like, yeah, that's one of my new favorites. I mean, I say that about all of them. Every time I read about a new one, it's one of my new favorites. But I like that one a lot. So, very cool. Very cool. So, did you hear that?
Hear what?
That. What was that?
Wait, did you see that?
Is that a?
I think it is.
It's a drive-in?
I don't know about you, but my legs could use a stretch.
Wait. Are you suggesting?
I sure am.
Nice. I'm here for it.
All right, folks. We're corny, we're cheesy, but you're still here, so you love us. We want to thank you, as always, for joining us and listening to our full season, our full first season of Scare Your Pants Off, the American Road Trip season. And we really hope that you've enjoyed the first leg of our journey. And we hope you join us next week for season 2, when we kick off our Scare Your Pants Off Drive-In of Terror.
Bum, bum, bum.
Right.
I can't wait.
Well, until then, guys, happy camping.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.